Let's go through these cuts. So, on the defensive line, the Browns have waived Porter Gustin, Curtis Weaver, Marvin Wilson, Cameron Malvo, Sheldon Day, Joe Jackson. Linebackers, T. Gray Scales, Elijah Lee, Willie Harvey. Defensive backs, Sheldrick Redwine, Javonte Moffett, Elijah Benton, Brian Allen, Manny Ragamba. Offensive linemen, Javon Patterson, Colby Gossett, Alex Taylor from injured reserve. Running backs, Johnny Kelly. Fullback, Johnny Stanton. Tight end, Jordan Franks. Kyle Markway. Wide receivers, Cardale Hodge, JoJo Natson, Jamarcus Bradley. Quarterback, Kyle Lauletta. Sent to injured reserve, Greg Sennett, Drew Forbes. Reserve suspended list by the commissioner, wide receiver Davion Davis. Let's welcome in Jeff Phelps from 92.3 The Fan and the Browns Radio Network halftime and post-game shows. Jeff, no huge surprises, but a couple of guys that can definitely play involved in those cutdowns to get to 53.
We're in a different place, aren't we, Dave? All of a sudden, the Browns, you're debating fifth, sixth guys at positions. There were a couple of things that stood out to me. Number one, on the defensive line. Right now, and this will change, we can be sure of this, they got rid of Cameron Malvo. They got rid of Joe Jackson, which I was surprised at. They got rid of Porter Gustin, which surprised me. I had to figure Jackson or Gustin was going to make the team. So they have three defensive ends right now. And we love Myles Garrett. Tack McKinley was not really participating in camp for a while. And Jadeveon Clowney, love him, has an injury of histories. Or history of injuries. Maybe I should put my reading glasses on while I talk. It'll help. He has a history
Got mine
of
injuries.
Here too. So, yeah, there you go. So that to me is something that I think we'll see somebody added at defensive end, and because this is just the cut down to 53. Now you start tweaking, and then I wonder about wide receiver a little bit. Cardale Hodge, I thought was pretty darn good in the preseason. I think he's been pretty good for the Browns. He's also good on special teams. It's interesting because now they have 5 wide receivers in a league where you throw the ball like crazy. Even the Browns, who have great running backs, but all of a sudden Anthony Schwartz is your 5th wide receiver. That's okay. Can he play? Can he be healthy? Let's find out. I wouldn't be surprised if they add a 6th wide receiver there. But you have Demetric Felton, who can line up at wide receiver. So that gives you some versatility. Maybe they actually like him more at receiver than at running back, because they kept 4 running backs, and that probably cost Cardale Hodge his job, at least in the short term, because Felton can slide out there and play a little receiver for you.
Yeah, and keep in mind, now once the 53-man roster gets official and everybody clears waivers, they can put guys on short-term IR and then bring back some of these guys. So candidates for short-term IR would definitely be Jacob Phillips. He's got that bicep injury. He's going to miss probably at least the first 5, 6, 7 games. Also, Michael Dunn, offensive lineman, who's been banged up, so they could bring back a couple of those guys. The other thing that's important to remember about Hodge, he was making like $2.3 million. If by some strange fact there that he gets through, they can bring him back at like a 4th-year minimum, which saves them over $1 million. I don't think that's likely. I think somebody claims Cardale Hodge because he's that good.
He's looked good, and what a way to endear yourself to your player. We've cut you. We'd like to have you back, and we want to pay you 50%. So that's a tough way to go. I just think he's the type of guy who can help your football team. But Dave, this is weird for all of us, because here we sit talking about guys who are 5th, 6th guys at a position, and that's a different world. So I hope they bring him back. If they don't, we're talking about the 5th or 6th guy at a position.
Yeah.
And same thing with Porter Gustin and with Joe Jackson. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys is back, and maybe even 2. I don't know. But right now they have 8 defensive linemen, 3 ends, 5 tackles.
And there is some flexibility with, you've got guys that can bounce outside with Malik Jackson, but I don't know that you want to play him there more than 4 or 5 snaps per game.